Hi out there. I'm going to show you what I'm working on. I'm working on some pork chops. These are pork loin pork chops, and we're going to show you a little bit about them tonight. Just got home from work, and the menu tonight is pork chops. I got my saucepan over there, and I've got it on medium heat, and here's what we're going to do for seasoning. So I put onion and garlic on most everything that I cook, especially, well, meat, vegetables, a lot of stuff. So what I'm doing here is onion powder. And so, like I said, these are pork loin pork chops. And then I'm going to use garlic salt for this one. And the reason I'm using garlic salt, a lot of times I'll use garlic powder. I do have that over on my spice rack. But I am using the garlic salt because my other ingredients are low sodium options. So let's add salt somewhere, right? Sometimes I don't add salt. If I'm using one that's a full sodium one, I will not add salt. I will just use the garlic powder by itself. Now, this that I'm using here is Tajín. It's a Spanish seasoning and classical seasoning. And this is actually low sodium as well. And it's mainly chili pepper and lime, and salt. There's a lot of salt in that, even though that's a low salt alternative. And then this I'm going to put on it, which is the Tony Chachere's, Tony Chachere's. Is that how you say it, Denise? Tony Chachere's? Mm-hmm. Yeah, famous Creole seasoning, and this is the no salt blend. So we have salt in the Tajín a little bit, and we have salt in the garlic powder. And I'm going to add I am seasoning here and you guys cannot even see. What am I doing here? So this is what we have. We have 4 porkers ready to go in the pan, and then I'll flip them over and season from the other side. So let's bring y'all over a little bit towards the pan. Already got some oil in the pan. You can use whatever you want. I just had some bacon grease in the pan, and I do not need 4 pork chops. Just honestly, I don't need 4 porkers. But might as well make a pan full, and then I'll have some for later, for another day, for lunches and things. So got those in there. Clean my hands off before I grab my spices. So what I'm going to do is going to spice them again with the same spices. And Denise, whenever you're ready, you can show them what you're doing. Okay. I'm just spicing this again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook them about halfway through on this side, and then we'll flip them and cook them the rest of the way on the other side. I try not to flip them around a lot. I try to keep them you know, where they're at, not move them, not flip them back and forth multiple times. Now I do have to keep in mind, if these were partially frozen, they would have more water in them, but they're not. So I'll need to watch and make sure we don't end up with, you know, getting them burned or something, because they don't have very much moisture in them. And I probably will, ooh, I lost track of what I put in there. Onion powder, Tony Chachere's. I need to put Tajín. That's what I have left. So if I was, so probably at some point I'll put the lid on them, but I want them to brown good, and so I'm going to leave the lid off for right now. And now I'm going to pass it over to Denise and let her show you what she's cooking on the other side here in the vegetables.
And you're supposed to say something like, and here's Denise.
Oh. And here's Denise.
Howdy, good folks. Let me show you the vegetables that we're making to go with what Carla calls the porkers.
Or fork chops. I mean, that's another name for them.
true. Pork chops. My daughter Rebecca thought that pork chops, when she was a child, she thought they were called fork chops because she ate them with a fork. Okay, I want to show you right here. I've got some new potatoes boiling right here, and I'm very proud of myself. Hang on just a minute. I'm very proud of myself because I grew these new potatoes.
She grew them all on her own, all on her lonesome.
I did. So I'm proud of that. I dug some of them today. I've got them cut up and in this little pot. And some of the skins are still on some of them. Some of the skin I had to cut off because it had a bad place or something like that in it. So I've just got this in water boiling. I'm going to let it boil until they're tender. And I'm going to add some butter, okay? So let's get a little butter going in here.
Now, did you grow them from seeds or did you grow them from plants or?
Well, what I had done, it was probably about January of this year, I had bought a bag of red potatoes from the grocery store, and y'all can't see me, let's see. I bought a bag of red potatoes from the grocery store, and I ate part of them, but what was left started growing eyes. And so when they started growing those eyes on them, I was like, I'm going to just plant these and just see what they'll do. So it worked out real good. They growed me some potatoes.
Yeah, she didn't want any eyes looking at her, so.
So anyway, we're going to let that go right there. We're going to let that cook until it's tender. Once the potatoes get tender, I'll add a little salt and pepper, and they'll be ready to go. All right, back here in our iron skillet, I have some fresh asparagus, and I cut the ends off of them, washed them, and just let the water cling to them. I didn't dry them, and I put some olive oil in the bottom of this pan. So we're going to kick this up to about medium-high and let that go to sizzling there. And I am going to season the asparagus with garlic salt. Okay,
Hey, that's my garlic salt.
We're going to have to share. Onion powder. And I'm going to put a little black pepper on it. Okay. Now, what made me think about this fresh asparagus and getting some and cooking it was when Olivia Lawbrown put her pick on Oh Taste and See of her meal that she had cooked, and it had fresh asparagus in it. I was like, whoa, I haven't eaten fresh asparagus in a little while, so we're going to cook some asparagus. All right, so we're going to let this be a cooking. Now, I have some leftover Mexican cornbread. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with that. Let me go get the pan. All right, here it is. So I got 2 pieces of cornbread. I cut them down the middle. Then I've got a piece of butter on top of it. I've got my oven heated up. There's my oven. Heated up to 400. I'm going to slide this in here and let it cook. So we're going to let that butter melt, let this cornbread warm up and crisp up, and that'll be our bread. Now, we hardly ever eat bread with our meals, but every once in a while we do. So we're going to have some bread today. All right, Carla, back to your porkers here for a minute if you want.
Okay. And I'll just say while I'm adjusting here, if you're watching this on Oh Taste and See, our Facebook page, Awesome Sauce. You can also look at this stuff on, oh Denise, you know what, I need a fork.
Okay, I'll do it.
You can also look at this videos, our cooking videos on South Alabama Cooking. And if you're watching on South Alabama Cooking on YouTube, well, you may want to like the South Alabama Cooking on Facebook or Oh Taste and See on Facebook and enjoy that. Now, here's the porkers, and it looks like they're getting done pretty good on that side, so we're just going to go ahead and flip them over. And then all I'll need to do is do the fork test and see if the blood comes out, and if they're done on the edge and no blood comes out, then we'll be in good shape. Don't want to overcook them because you can tell I'm not left-handed. But anyhow, you don't want to overcook. I don't like to overcook meat because then it gets too dry. It gets too, what's the right word, Denise? Tough. Yeah. You just cook all the flavor and the juices out of it, and it needs to have a little flavor and juices in it.
And so that's why I have turned over cooking the pork chops to Carla, because I tend to just cook them and cook them and cook them because I like my meat to be well done. I don't want to see no blood. So, but Carla has got that perfected on how to cook them and make sure they're done, but yet they're juicy and they're tender. So I just turned it over to her.
I don't know if perfected is the right word, but
It is.
my cousin Lainey did teach me a thing or two about cooking meats and told me a few things, and she's a really good cook with cooking. She's really good with steaks. So I just apply the same thing to pork chops, and it works pretty well.
And Lainey, when I was up in Texas here a couple of years ago for your mom and dad's anniversary, she taught me how to make simple syrup.
Oh yeah,
Which
that's
is-
right. That was for Mama's birthday, or
It was. It was for her birthday.
her 90th birthday.
90th birthday. I'd never heard of simple syrup, and Lainey was making it and sweetening the sweet tea. And so that was a new recipe I got from her. And she had me taste the sweet tea when she found out I was from South Alabama, because she knows that us Southerners love our sweet tea.
And know how to cook. All
Okay,
right.
so we will get back with you in just a little bit when this is done.
All right, Denise, I need to get in there and check those porkers. So you've got we've got the pork chops going here, and they are actually doing very well. And so I'm just going to pick one up and show you. No blood comes out of it when I poke it with the fork. That's my fork test. And I've got a nice brown tan on here. It looks tan like I like to be during the summertime. Tan from going to the beach and working in the yard. And so they look good to me. And I don't want them to overcook. So we're just going to put a lid on them. And Denise, if you'll just turn the power off totally on those,
Okay.
while we're letting the rest of the food cook, and we'll just turn them off for a minute. Did you have something you wanted to check on?
Yeah. I just want y'all to see my potatoes. They're cooking down and they're almost tender. We're going to let them cook just a little bit more. Then we'll add the salt and pepper. Over here, I had to add a little extra water, and I may have to add some more to the asparagus because the water was evaporating out of it. Yeah, let me add just a little more water.
Okay. And I see what you mean now that I just made the connection with cooking down on the potatoes, because it had water over the potatoes, and now the potatoes are cooked down where there's just a little water in them.
Yeah. Now this asparagus, all you want to do is just cook it until it's as tender as you want it to be. Okay? I like mine to still have just a little bit of a crunch in it, but it's just up to you, however you want it. All right, our vegetables are ready. Here's our asparagus, and you can just take a fork and stick it. See, make sure it's tender like you want it to be.
Okay,
All
stick a
right.
fork in it. It's done.
Yeah, here's our potatoes. Now what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to add the salt and the pepper. So let me get that. And I just always use a salt box. This is the way I grew up. Mama salted like this. We didn't have salt shakers. I mean, we had them, but we just didn't use them. And so this is what I'm used to.
And this is called the South. Stick of butter on the salt box.
And we'll put some ground pepper on it. And these potatoes will be ready. Okay, so we are, I need to get this off of here. It's continuing to cook. So
Okay.
let me get this off of here. I'm just going to set it over here. Y'all won't be able to see it, I don't think, right now.
they can see you. Maybe not.
Okay, now let's look at the cornbread.
All right,
It is
cornbread.
ready. There we go. There's our cornbread.
Oh, it's got a nice toasty look to it.
So we should dip up a plate here and let the good folks see what we got. How about
All
that?
right. Here you go. I'll let you do the honors.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So we get me a piece of cornbread. Ouch, that's hot. What do you know? I just got it out of the oven and it's hot.
Can't imagine. Ooh, this lid's hot too. Don't try this at home, kids.
Potatoes, potato, all that
Tomato.
kind of stuff.
Oh, we don't have any tomatoes.
Well, we got one that's almost ready. Which one of these do I want?
Oh, that's true. We do have a tomato plant, and it is loaded with some tomatoes. And
It is a Better Boy Indeterminate, and it is just growing everywhere. And we're fixing to have our first tomato ready.
yeah, and we usually post the gardening videos on South Alabama Gals, so we've got several different, video outlets that we post stuff on. Just having fun. We started this during COVID whenever
Yeah,
we were bored because we were quarantined.
we started it in COVID, and so it's just been a lot of fun. All right, so this is our supper. For
Look
tonight.
at that supper.
Oh, let me show y'all what we're going to have for dessert, though, okay?
Oh, you want to show
get it.
dessert? This is the South, y'all. You got to have dessert.
Oh, but we're having a healthy dessert. Look, we're having fresh strawberries.
What?
And you can eat it either with cream cheese dip, fruit dip, or strawberry cream cheese fruit dip.
Or Cool Whip. It's
Oh.
better with Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. That's what's for supper, folks.